Hey everyone, how you doing? Well, here I am in beautiful Washington State, Southwest Washington State. My family and I arrived here last evening after a 28.5 hour door-to-door trip. Lovely, not. But after running some errands and some things today, I thought I would do a little haul. I got a very nice mail haul from Book Fiend Nick. Book Fiend Nick is pretty familiar in the comments field and also featured in some other book haul videos, I'm sure, from some other booktubers, YouTubers in this little corner of our kind of Pulp Island sphere. He very kindly offered to send me some books, and I said, "Are you sure?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm sure." So very nice of him, and I want to show those off right now. So I'm going to start first with some fantasy stuff that he sent, then we're going to move into some westerns and finish with some crime. So he sent me some really cool stuff. So first, he sent me a couple books by Elmeras, The Ship of Ishtar. Hope you guys can see that okay. The light's starting to fade a bit here. And this is an Avon edition from 1973. I think this is the third printing. And, you know, very cool red text block, good old Avon there. And then The Metal Master. That's very cool. Now, I believe I have this one. I have to check it back in Japan, but I'm pretty sure I have this one. And if that's the case, I might pass this one on to someone else. But it's a very beautiful edition. It might be different from the edition I have, so we'll see. But very cool. Thank you for those, Nick. He also sent me After Dark, Manly Wade Wellman. This is the second John the Balladeer book, and this is a double-day science fiction. A novel of Silver John. This is a good one. This is one where John faces the Shonakins. Manly Wade Wellman's kind of made up, but very historically kind of believable for mythology, some American mythology of some kind of peoples that were forerunner of the human race. They want to regain their dominance once again. John tangles with them along with some other friendly folk that he comes in to deal with. Now, those are all very cool. I love the Wellman. We have another surprise Wellman coming up later. I was very excited to see that. But Nick sent me a lot of really cool Westerns, including a couple of these Bill Pronzini and Martin H. Greenberg, The Best of the West collections. We have this one, The Outlaws. Again, I hope you guys can see that okay. And this has got some really cool stories, including O. Henry, The Caballero's Way. And what else do we have here? Some other, we got one from Pronzini, The Posse from Peytonville. And Steve Frazee, My Brother Down There. Assassin by Frank Gruber. Very cool. Of course, if you're gonna have outlaws, you gotta have lawmen. So I have another Best of the West, The Lawmen. And this has a story by Theodore Sturgeon, the Sheriff of Chaiute. We got, who else? We have Ernest Haycock's McQuestion Rides. We got another Frank Gruber, The Marshal of Broken Lance. We have, what else here? Donald Hamilton, writer of Matt Helm, the Matt Helm series. We have Donald Hamilton with The Guns of William Longley, Bill Longley, the Texan. Anyway, very cool, very cool. Love good Western short stories. Then he sent me this awesome looking Gunsmoke tie-in. I'm guessing it's a TV tie-in of some kind. Yeah, looks like it. First time in print. A novel by Gary McCarthy, first in the new Western series based on the longest running television drama ever. Now, I don't know when this, I haven't opened the baggie yet to see when this was written. Hope you can see the cover there. It's got the famous kind of silhouette of Marshal Matt Dillon squaring off with someone. His hand, his thumb flicking the cover off his holster so he can draw his gun. Very cool. What do we got here? Amidst the peril and confusion of a frontier town, Marshal Matt Dillon is a man who stands up for justice, for honor, and for the safety of Dodge City's law-abiding citizens. No gunman is too fast, no stage robber too cunning, no crisis too large for this fearless lawman of the West. Nice. Now, I believe Nick might have seen that I reviewed Sundance, the very first Sundance novel a while back on my channel. And I think this is his, I believe he said this is his favorite Western series. So he very kindly sent me 2 more in the series. Thank you, Nick. The Wild Stallions. This is Sundance 13. Either or you die. That's pretty cool. And this is another leisure book like the other Sundance I have. And this one was published in 1975. Sundance Man of Violence by John Benteen. Now, whether this is still Ben Hawes, I don't know if he wrote more than the first 5, but looks very cool. And here's another one, Sundance 14. This one's in really great shape. War Party. Yeah, look at that sucker. The Ordeal. Slight adjustment for the light. Hopefully the light's a little better. Anyway, very cool. The Comanches were running wild and Sundance had to join them before he could beat them. Sundance. Okay. And then, as Nick knows, I'm a big fan of Marshall Grover, also known as Marshall McCoy in the States. And I've reviewed some of the Big Jim Westerns as well as the Larry and Stretch. When they were published in Bantam editions, they were called Larry and Streak. They changed the names a bit. So he kindly sent me one of each. We got Behind the Black Mask, a Nevada Jim Western. Now, Big Jim, in its original Australian incarnation, became Nevada Jim. Here we have a really cool James Bama cover. Very sweet. Sorry, guys, I keep changing for the light because the sun is falling, setting. Want to make sure you can see these covers. Larry and Streak Western. Very nice. Love these little thin, barely 120-page Westerns. Marshall Grover, that was Leonard B. Mears in Australia. Never set foot in the U.S. as far as I'm aware, but wrote anywhere from 600 to 800 Westerns. Really knew how to make some intriguing plots. Then we have something really cool here. Six Gun Melody by William Colt MacDonald. Complete and unabridged. Look at that sucker. What is this? This is Avon, early Avon looks like. Avon Publishing from 1938 originally. This one's from 1951. How's that for a cool cover? Hot Lead Flies as a cowpuncher fights for his life and his girl. This is really surprised me, this one. This is so cool. A first edition from, again, what's the company? Yeah, I guess the company is a first edition. Fort Sundance by Manly Wade Wellman. What about that? Very cool. I wasn't even aware that Wellman had done any straight Western stories, but I'm not surprised since he was a big-time pulp writer. But this one says not a reprint, an original, right? Not a reprint. And down here, a first edition, no, an original novel, not a reprint. Anyway, look at that. A blazing novel of a forgotten outpost, waiting to die, fighting to survive. Cool, very cool. One last Western here. Eye of the Wolf, Soldier Blue. I'm not familiar with this series, Soldier Blue, but looks pretty damn cool. His guns and his hatred were the only law. Sheriff Frank Ullring had hollowed out many a gut to get what he wanted, and what he wanted was Bethany McAllister. The first snag was her 2-bit husband. Ullring killed him. Then there was that half-breed Navajo Will Joe who had seen him do it. Before he could have Bethany, Ullring had to find Will Joe and kill him very, very dead. So I'm guessing maybe Will Joe is the protagonist. This one's in really nice shape. We also have Talbot Mundy's Tross of Samothrace. Sorry guys, keep changing this around for different backgrounds outside here by my family's house. But I want to make sure you can actually see the books. Don't have to see me, but you should see the books. Talbot Mundy's towering legendary warrior, Tross of Samothrace. Tross the adventurer in fateful confrontation with blue-stained Caswallon and his queen, Fleur of the Second Sight. Pretty cool, huh? This is another Avon. Avon books here. Tross of Samothrace. Good old Talbot Mundy. Okay, and we'll end with a few cool crime books he sent me, including a TV tie-in, it looks like. All right, let me get this before the light completely fades. The Defenders, Eye of Judgment. So this is based off of a very famous 4-season TV series from the early 60s, starring E.G. Marshall and Robert Reed as a father and son defense lawyer team. And yes, it's that Robert Reed from the Brady Bunch. He was a famous dramatic actor, or well-known and respected dramatic actor on television before he became famous for the Brady Bunch. 6 for conviction, 6 for acquittal. By all decent standards, tough, arrogant Frank Thorpe belonged behind bars even if he was innocent. In his racket days, he had gunned down more men than he could remember. But he had beaten every rap. Then he had become a respectable, quote-unquote, businessman with a beautiful wife, a duplex apartment, and $1 million. Now he was on trial for the murder of his chief business competitor. The killing had been incredibly bungled. Could an experienced gangster like Thorpe be guilty of such a sloppy job? That was what a deadlocked jury of 8 men and 4 women had to decide. It was 6 of one, half a dozen of another, and not even Lawrence Preston, Thorpe's defense counsel, knew the truth. All right, cool. Then we have an Edgar Wallace, The Devil Man. Look at that cool cover. A Collins White Circle Pocket Edition. This might be a British one. It's got that kind of floppy feel. Edgar Wallace, very famous crime writer, wrote lots of crime stories. Here, maybe if I step back a bit, you can see it better. There you go. Also, he sent me, Nick sent me a Brett Halliday, Mike Shane mystery, Murder Spins the Wheel. It's one of those photo cover ones. With a scantily clad lady with perhaps Mike Shane supposed to be. Doesn't look what I think of as Mike Shane on the back there. Or on the front, I should say. Long Shot on a Bad Girl. Good private eye detective story. Speaking of private eye detective stories, here's a cool, very cool Fawcett Gold Medal edition of Dresser and Indigo, a John D. MacDonald, Travis McGee mystery. I'm wondering if I've read this one. Into the freaked out world of expatriate American kids grooving in sunny Mexico comes Travis McGee in search of the shadowed past of a once lovely girl. I have read this one and it's fantastic. This is a really good book. I don't seem to have my copy anymore unless I can find it when I dig around in my stored books up here. But I remember this one is one of the best McGee books I read several years ago. So thank you for that. And I believe that is everything in this very cool haul. I want to thank Nick again. Thank you so much, Nick. Nick at BookFiend Nick. Really appreciate it. Your kindness and generosity. Thanks a bunch. The least I could do is show off your haul to me here on a video. So thanks for watching as always. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.